we're going to talk about outgoings, guys. And one, I suppose, the player that you would hope and you would, probably be most confident that could bring in some good money this summer is Alejandro Garnacho. Now, again, before we get into the reports, you got to take it into consideration as well what we just mentioned about us going out to sign players and leaving it till late in the window, and you might get a deal. That could potentially happen internally as well. We haven't had any bids. You cannot sell a player unless a bid comes in for him, and you can criticize all you want, the board and the owners and whoever's doing the negotiations, but if a bid doesn't come in for a certain player, you can't sell him. We haven't had any bids in yet. We had a bid in for Rashford, albeit it was a loan, and we got the deal done relatively fast. Okay, we have had no bids for Anthony, we've had no bids for Sancho, and we've had no bids for Garnacho as of yet. Okay, now reports about Garnacho have suggested that Chelsea retain an interest, and this is coming out from Matt Lawson in the Daily Telegraph. He says Chelsea retain an interest in Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho, and the arrival of Xavi Simons will not necessarily close the door on a potential deal for the Argentine. Another report then from Fabrizio Romano, again on DAZN, says Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho and Xavi Simons. There is a possibility they sign both this summer, but the priority remains Simons at the moment. So, what this means then is that Alejandro Garnacho moving away from Manchester United is going to be the saga that drags on and drags on and drags on until, the end of, like, this time next month we're talking about coming up on the close of the transfer window. So I can see Garnacho not moving until late in this window. Again, look, there is interest from the continent, from, obviously the likes of Napoli were in for him, weren't they? And there was one other one, I can't remember. But then you've also got the likes of Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa can only buy if they sell. And we're interested in a couple of their players. Ollie Watkins, Martinez. Whether we go for them or not, that remains to be seen. Obviously, if we go for somebody like Benjamin Sesko, it shuts the door on us going for somebody like Ollie Watkins. But, and now that I'm just putting all of that into my head, is there a scenario where Benjamin Sesko goes to Newcastle, we move fast then for Watkins, get a deal done for him, then that gives Villa the money to go and get Garnacho off of us? Maybe, I don't know. But there's a lot of things that need to happen technically then before Garnacho leaves Manchester United. The thing about Garnacho is, and it's frustrating because, like I said, he is the one. This is the one. No, I'm not singing that to him. He is the one that can generate some good revenue on the books for Manchester United. If you're talking 40 million, 50 million, whatever the case, I think we should be looking for a minimum of 40 million for him. Absolute minimum of 40 million. When you see what some of the players are going for, I mean, Elanga 55, Garnacho's worth that in my eyes. I think he is, especially with the high ceiling that he's got. But not only is it the money coming in the door, but it's the balance sheet, it's the FFP, and we know that Garnacho is an academy graduate. It's pure profit on the books, and it frees up an awful lot of space for United then to go out and spend some money. Look, I mean, Garnacho's time is done at Manchester United, really, isn't it? And Ruben Amorim has made it quite clear that whether it's his attitude, well, it is his attitude, because we know the ability with him is there. I said it last November before Ruben Amorim came in. When Ruben Amorim was announced, maybe someone will be able to go back and find the clip, but I said the person with the biggest learning curve was going to be Garnacho, and it was going to be sink or swim for him. It was going to be sink or swim, and he sank. Now, he might not have sank because of his ability. It might have been his attitude. It might have been his unwillingness to adapt, maybe. But nonetheless, Garnacho has not impressed Ruben Amorim. And if you don't impress the manager, you're moved on. And fucking rightly so. Rightly so. And the manager needs to have the power over that as well. And look, when United are looking to get players off the books, generate some revenue, restructure the playing squad, someone like Garnacho, who has come from the academy and who's built a bit of a reputation for himself, in terms of his ability and so on and so forth, that, he does jump out off the sheet as a player that can generate some good revenue. But as it stands, it's all speculation around Garnacho at the moment. There is no concrete offers for Garnacho. There's nobody even negotiating with his entourage about how much a potential salary package would cost, whether it be Villa, whether it be Chelsea. We're not hearing any of that. All we're hearing is reports saying, yeah, that team likes him. Yeah, that team, might take a look at him before the end of the window. And I think the fact that the whole Ruben Amorim versus Alejandro Garnacho was aired so publicly, teams are well aware that all they have to do is wait. All they have to do is wait, and they'll come to United with a week or two to go in the transfer window, and they'll get him for 5 million cheaper. Now ultimately that will mean, United will be getting money in regardless. But can United take the chance to go out and spend before you sell? And I don't know if United are willing to take that chance, and that's a concern.